episode 31 of the Eye of Terror podcast. I'm George.
And I'm Alec.
And we play 40K. Man, we played a lot of 40K. Or at least I played a lot of 40K yesterday.
You did play a substantial amount of 40K.
So yesterday, and we'll get into this later, but yesterday I played in my first ever tournament. It was ITC rules.
Yep.
It was a lot of fun.
Yep.
We're going to talk all about that a little bit later. You were excited. And, what did you do the whole time while I was playing?
Oh, I read the entirety of Fall of Cadia.
There you go. There you go. So we'll get into Fall of Cadia a little bit later on. It's an exciting episode.
Yeah, a lot of stuff to talk about.
No battle report this episode, though.
No. Well, I mean, sort of.
Yeah, there'll be 3 mini battle reports.
Yeah.
They talk about what happened in the tournament.
Yep.
But no battle report between us.
Yep.
Right. Well, it's still a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So first up is hobby progress. I continue working on the Rubric Marines, but I find them intimidating.
Understandable. Their helmets are very tall.
not physically intimidating, artistically intimidating. They're so complex. They're so detailed that I know that once I start, I get sucked in and spend a lot of time with them. I've kind of finished 2 Marines out of the squad of 10. They look fantastic, but they just require hours of work in order to make them look that great. And
it's 2 squads of 10 followed by 5 Rubric Terminators.
And then 3 Exalted Sorcerers and Ahriman.
Yep.
Yeah, so I've got a lot of work to do. If nothing else, the first half of the year will be nothing but Thousand Sun Marines. So in order to take a little break from all the Thousand Suns, I assembled last weekend the Dark Furies. That's the Horus Heresy,
the
Raven Guard Assault Squad.
Yep.
They're the ones that have like the big sort of metal-looking wings and the.
I wonder if they make bird
claws.
noises.
No. They're supposed to be quiet. Silently swooping death upon the enemy.
Then they chirp. Do they perch? Do they get perched?
Afterward.
And they chirp?
Afterward they can chirp. After they're done killing, then they chirp. Their victory chirp of death. Right. So I think I'm pretty much finished with them. They look great. I think they turned out great. I made their lightning claws all crackling with blue energy and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then I put the Death Watch shoulder pads on them.
Oh, yeah.
That way they're interchangeable.
Yep.
I can use them as Raven Guard, do like a special allied force or detachment for Raven Guard, or throw them in my Death Watch army.
Just what? There's a lot of...
Yeah, they're the Vanguard vets. They're the
stuff.
Raven Guard recruits to the Vanguard vets.
Sure.
And they kind of have attitude because...
They have attitude?
They're cliquish. They hang out with themselves. Like all the other Death Watch guys, like, oh, where are you from? Where are you from? And everybody's like sharing information, but they're the Raven Guard guys.
They're the emo kids?
Yeah, they're
the emo kids?
They're smoking like clove cigarettes. They're beaky helmets.
They are called... They are called Raven Guard.
That's right. But they're going to look cool. I really like them. The other thing I built was, and I have to look this up because I know I never get the name right, but hold on.
It's like Domitar class.
What do you think it is?
Take
a guess.
Auto something.
That's exactly what I say.
Auto.
You just there's too many autos and there's too many matas and there's too many.
Automatopoeia.
Okay. So this was
Automata.
This was a Christmas present from Rain. It was from Forge World, the Iron Circle Domitar Ferrum class battle automata.
Automata.
Sounds Japanese. Automata.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think it's pronounced automata.
I know. But I never pronounce anything. Remember Death Rescue?
Automata. It's the Automata.
The Automata.
Automata.
He's the guy from Joy Z.
I'm gonna automate your face
with his thunder hammer. The description is towering over even Space Marines of the Legion of Astartes, and man, that's true because this thing is like.
Yeah, it's like
3 times the size of a Space Marine.
It's like a Centurion.
It's bigger than a Centurion. It's taller than a Centurion.
Yeah, not a Centurion. Sorry, I was gonna say the Contemptor. It's taller. It's like about as tall as like a Contemptor.
Yeah, about as tall as a Contemptor.
Somewhere around that.
He has a giant shield and a hammer with a very giant handle.
Yes,
a very long handle. I guess just so that you can weigh it around create the mass. Force equals mass time acceleration. So this guy,
It's just
yeah.
is that what he's doing? Just constantly revving up those
I will
swings?
teach you in physics. I'll school you in physics as I crush you.
Oh,
Yeah.
and he shares your love of hazard stripes too. So
Oh
you
yeah,
gotta love
because he's
that
Iron Warriors, he's got hazard straps all over him, and of course, so my eye was drawn to him
immediately
when I
with your,
saw him. Yeah, he's
your
pretty
obsession
awesome.
with
Right.
Gotta make sure everyone thinks properly.
Yeah, he's got a shield and he has a graviton. It's called a graviton
Health
hammer.
and safety must improve this.
Right. He's one of the bodyguards that Perturabo made after he found out that his bodyguards weren't that great.
Yeah, so he's
Like
like, I can do it better. I can make robots.
The robots will protect me better than fleshy space marines who are weak.
Perturabo.
Anyway,
Perturabo.
he looks amazing, and I built him, and it looks fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done anything other than build him, and so it's been raining here in Southern California, so I haven't been able to prime anything. But anyway, he looks great, so very happy about that.
Yes.
Speaking of Forge World,
Mm-hmm.
I was cruising Forge World, and under the quad rapier mortar,
yes,
my photo's there.
They shared your.
They shared my photo. Like if you look up the Space Marine quad rapier mortar, one of the 4 photos featured is mine on Forge World site. Amazing.
I'm sure the internet's very proud of you. But it actually is.
Be
pretty
proud
cool,
of me,
though. It
Internet.
is very cool.
It's super cool. Super cool. That's awesome. The other 2 painters who were featured are like actual like painting services. They're like painting companies. And then there's Lonely Me with mine. And of course you know why? You know why they chose that one?
Why'd they choose that one, Dad?
Because it has hazard stripes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I built hazard stripes into it. I painted hazard stripes. That's why. So there you go, kids. If you want to get featured by Forge World, include hazard stripes in your painting.
The road to success is paved with safety regulation.
Exactly. People must think that we're obsessed with hazard stripes. Or I guess that I am anyway.
You are.
I know I am. All right. So hobby goals would be to finish the Thousand Suns army. Okay. That's definitely a goal. I still have to build the Leviathan, which is out there. I have nothing, contrary to, I think, a lot of people experiences, I've got my armies ready to go for LVO, which is coming up quickly.
Yeah.
And I don't think I really have to paint anything.
No, you don't.
Because I'm going to...
You already got.
I'm wavering, though, between...
Between... We'll get to why.
Okay, we'll get to why.
Later.
Which army I'm going to take to LVO. Well, yeah, we'll see.
But first... Lord of Change.
Oh, yeah, Lord Change.
Yeah.
The new Lord Change model. All right, I first saw a Lord Change model, and it had like a profile.
Oh yeah. It had a wonky picture for the outside.
It was a terrible picture because I looked at it from the side and you couldn't really make out the second head.
Yeah, so
you kind of saw one head, but you really couldn't. It was so blue and gold that you really couldn't tell. So I saw it and I'm like,
what is this?
It's disappointing.
And
I like the old model better. What is this? I don't like this.
And then you saw a picture from a better angle.
And then I saw a different angle, and I thought, no, this is awesome.
This
is fantastic. This is amazing. Can you? I guess you can use the Lord of Change in a demon army, right? A Tzeentch demon army.
Yes, you can.
So with the Thousand Suns, you could use the Lord of Change.
That's a different. Well, they're not. They're Thousand Suns are not like Khorne Demonkin.
Oh, so they can't just bring in like, here's my demon buddy.
Well, I mean, you could ally Chaos Demons to Thousand Suns.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Tzeentch would make sense.
Yes, you can do that.
Yeah,
but it's not like they're like one army.
Oh, I know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can ally them in.
Because that'd be pretty fluffy and cool.
Just to have the Lord of
The
Change
Lord is
going
Lord
high.
of Change, and then your sorcerer's gonna be summoning.
I'm a bird man.
Blue horrors and stuff. I don't think that's what he says.
That would be great. If we just shouted, "I'm a bird man."
How terrifying!
I don't know why it's so.
Oh boy. All right.
I'm a bird man.
All right, 30 seconds of laughing is not exactly great radio.
Quality content here. I'm just like he opens like it's like dramatic portal shows up.
Everybody's like,
everyone's all like horrified. Like all the Imperial defenders are just horrified.
Right.
A bunch of demons start screaming out, and then this like mighty Lord of Change stomps in. He looks right at them. There he goes. I'm a bird man.
Yeah, terrifying. I'm glad you're not writing the fluff for 40K. Oh my god. There's a Raven card answer.
I'm dying. Okay.
Yeah, the Raven card answer. We are too. There you go. Oh man, the fluff just writes itself. Okay. All right.
Things are getting weird in the 13th Black Crusade.
They are. And the 31st episode of the Eye of Terror.
Okay.
Okay.
We're back.
We're back. That was dumb. All right.
That was very dumb. Okay.
So, Lord of Change. Impressive looking.
Really cool looking model.
Yeah, it just needs a better script.
Yeah, he needs. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Any other models?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
All right.
Let's move on. We can't.
All right. Let's move on.
Okay.
All right. I don't know of any other like rumors or upcoming stuff.
Yeah.
It all seems to be dominated by sort of rumors about 8th edition. Like all the other podcasts and all the sites are like waiting for some new confirmation that 8th edition is coming out and when, and also that it's going to be, in all likelihood, going to be sort of simplified. It'll be a simplified version of the rules.
Which seems to be what everyone's baying for.
I don't know. I mean, I want it to be simplified. It'd be great because the game takes too long to play.
And everyone's using the same terminology of, I want it simplified, but I don't want Age of Sigmar. That's what I've seen every commentator say. I want it simplified, but I don't want Age of Sigmar.
Even though people seem to like Age of Sigmar now.
Which is... Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. We don't play that.
We don't play it, and we're not going to. So
no, maybe in the far off.
Really?
Hey, those I do like.
No, I know.
Vampires.
I just don't have.
We don't have to. We don't have to. It's
paint a whole other army.
Right now, it's like.
Yeah, we had the conversation about if we had to play. Play Sigmar, then what would you be? Yeah. What would you? By the way, I chose like the Death faction.
Well, that's what I wanted.
Oh, okay, of course.
I thought you said dwarves or death.
That's my motto in life.
Dwarves or death. I don't know what situation you'd use that in.
Paintball.
Paintball. Did someone drug us? Is this
I don't know.
What's going on right now?
Yeah. Yesterday's tournament just made us wacky.
Apparently, what happened?
I don't know. It's funny. We've lost control of the podcast now.
Seriously,
everything is funny.
It just.
All right. All right. We're having too much fun. In case you haven't noticed, we're having too much fun.
This is
not a serious episode. It's 2017. That's why.
It's 2017, so we're just like,
whatever. Anything goes.
I don't.
All right.
Okay, so. Yeah. What was I saying? What were we saying?
All right. Let's go back to painting for just a second. Because in case you guys are going to paint the Thousand Suns,
Yeah.
I really encourage you to watch Duncan's video on Warhammer TV.
Oh yeah.
Because I primed my guys all blue, and then I went around
Yeah.
and then have to paint all the fiddly gold parts. But he starts off by painting the entire army gold,
and then you
priming
can
in
fill it all
gold.
with blue.
Yeah, and he washes it, and then he does all like the much easier to paint larger blue parts in blue. And I'm like, oh man, that would have been so much easier. So I think for the second unit of Space Marines and all the rest of them, I'm going to prime them in Liberator Gold or whatever their gold $40 can of gold primer is.
That actually transitions perfectly into.
Yep.
I just remembered the rumor of because the 100th episode, I believe, of his painting tips.
Yes.
He had the Eldar cat thing, which is like some sort of
the Gearinks or the Gyrinks.
Something like that, and it teases the Exodites. Is that what they're called?
Yeah, Exodites.
It's which are like essentially wood elves, but for Eldar, and they write dinosaurs.
Right. Right. It's a crazy game.
Yep.
So he paints a cat, and you're like, well, what's he doing painting a cat? And then we realize, well, the Eldar seem to have cats, and
well, there's this bit of Eldar, and then there's the whole Fall of Cadia picture where there's a guy who looks like an Exodite
in red armor
leading the.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get
into that when we get to talk about Fall of Cadia.
We'll get to that.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's interesting. Apart from that, I don't really have any like other rumors or news.
Yeah, it just everyone wants 8th edition, everyone wants it streamlined, no one wants it to be Age of Sigmar.
Right.
And Exodites. So that's all cool. I'm interested to see like a freaking Eldar riding dinosaurs army. Wouldn't that be funny?
No, they weren't powerful enough. Now they gotta have dinosaurs.
Well, no, I don't want them to have here's the trade-off would be. This army gets dinosaurs, but they don't get all the fancy stuff. Like, they don't ride, jet bikes.
They ride slow-moving dinosaurs.
Or they ride, some sort of, raptor-looking thing as cavalry.
Yeah.
But they don't get that. I don't know.
In the future, we will ride dinosaurs.
Or maybe, I don't know, more giant birds.
Yeah. Let's stay away from birds.
Yeah, let's stay away from birds. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, birds are dinosaurs.
Where they come from? Yeah, I know. All right.
Okay.
Man, we're learning science and physics all in one podcast.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So I guess we should probably just jump into yesterday's tournament.
Yesterday's tournament. So you brought your war convocation.
Yeah. So I brought the war convocation, 1850 list.
Yep.
The tournament. I literally found out about the tournament 3 days ago.
Yeah, and you're like,
I was
this will be great practice.
I was just looking and thinking, there's got to be some sort of ITC event, a few weeks out before the LVO, and I happened to look on Game Empire's Facebook page, and it was listed there.
What do you know?
And I said, well, this thing is tomorrow, so why don't I sign up, and I'll take my Warcon list. Yep. So I sprung that on you yesterday. I'm like, hey, we're going to the tournament on Saturday. I hope you don't have plans. So there you go. I kind of put together the list that I've been using, but my mistake was that I didn't really study all the stuff that I had in it.
No, I think it's been a while since
I played Warcon. And even though I intended it to be my LVO list, I just did not familiarize myself with enough of the rules, which is a fundamental, I think, challenge in playing Warcon, is that you have to know all the cult mechanicus special rules and all the relics.
You have to remember the Skitarii, whatever
so
they are. What's the Skitarii bonus called?
The Doctrina Imperative.
Doctrina.
Cool. So you got to have the mechanicals for cult mechanicus. You got to have the Doctrina for the Skitarii memorized.
Yep.
Plus all of the different relics.
Yep.
And of course they call all the weapons different from what the Imperium calls their weapons, so
taser goats, flechette blasters,
and then some
transonic blades,
right? You could have rad poisoning,
the galvanic rifles,
neurostatic auras.
The neurostatic aura. No, I think that one's a little easier to remember, mostly because it's just cool, so you remember it in your head. Because you're like, ooh, that sounds cool.
But I think you remember certain things, and because they stick out because they sound cool. But there's all these
other
bonuses that you don't remember, and they are inherent to the success of playing. I think War Convocation, successfully, is that you really take advantage of all these cool rules. the problem is you just got to remember them. And I put together the list, and for whatever reason, I should have studied it and realized what I had in there.
Yep.
So I would say that a good, 50% of the advantages that I would have with that list, I didn't really bring to any of my games yesterday. I use some things.
Yeah.
Some of the obvious things like the Canicles that give you stealth and shrouded first turn, or the ones that allow you to reroll all to hits on your shooting attacks.
Those are all good.
Yeah, which really annoyed my opponents. But I think I forgot a lot of them, and I certainly forgot that I'd given each of the sergeants in the different units, relics that do cool stuff. I totally forgot to use the relics.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go over your first game.
Well, let me go over the list real quickly.
Your list?
Generally speaking.
Well, I think okay.
So the war convocation consists of an Imperial Knight. I took the Imperial Knight that has the thermal cannon, the D sword, and then the Storm Spear rocket pod that shoots 8 strength 8 AP3 missiles.
You had the Tech Dominus.
I had the Tech Dominus. He was with a robot maniple that had 2 Castellan robots. One had the Power Fist. The other one had the heavy phosphor blasters. They had the Data Smith that went with them.
And his cane of not dying.
Oh yeah, he took the relic that gives the eternal. It will not die to his entire unit, which is fantastic. And then he also gets to repair stuff.
He whacks them with it, and they get better.
Right. And then I had the mandatory unit of Vanguard.
Mm-hmm.
Among them, I gave him a couple of Haywire rifles and 1 plasma rifle.
Yep.
And then I had a unit of Rangers that had 2 of the sniper rifles.
Yeah.
That turned out to be really good. Like, we never used the sniper rifles, but it turns out because they have armor bane, I was able to actually take down hull points on vehicles and knights with those things. Shockingly. Yeah, shockingly. I had, let's see, what else did I have? I had the mandatory troops units, which are the Catapult destroyers, and they have the heavy grav cannons.
Yeah.
Those are all devastating on the field.
Yes.
Yeah. And then, gosh, what else did I have? Is that it? I think that
Did you mention the Void Shield Generator?
Oh, yeah, a Void Shield Generator.
Which is...
I had a Void Shield Generator for 100 points, which included 3 Strength 12 shields. So that was cool. Yeah. In fact, where's it?
Where is it?
It's somewhere. I put it away. I put it away. Yeah. So that was pretty much my list. It was Skitarii, Cult Mechanicus, and Imperial Knights. Plasma doesn't get hot, and I forgot to use that rule because I lost some guy. I forgot about the nothing gets hot in Warcon, and I actually lost one guy in that.
Yeah, that's not good. Oh well,
that stinks. All right, whatever. All right, all right. So went to Pasadena. I was paired up with a nice guy named Dave for my first round.
Yep, nice guy named Dave.
Nice guy named Dave
with a very nice list.
With a horrible list. So my first game, I play against 3 knights, one of which is the Forge World Acheron Knight.
Yeah, it was 3 knights with one of them had the freaking Hellstorm template, strength 7, AP3.
Yeah. 18-inch Hellstorm template. AP3.
It's very big.
It's very big. So he had that, and he had 2 other. I think he had a Knight Warden and another Knight. He had combinations of Gatling Avenger cannons, and also battle cannons. Yeah. And then to accompany those, he had a Riptide Wing. Yep. Very fluffy. Three Riptides.
Welcome to competitive play.
Exactly. Exactly. Fluff out the window.
Yes.
So 3 knights and Riptide Wing was my first game. The game went pretty fast.
Yes, it did.
Yeah. Also, I rolled terribly that game. I couldn't make my saves. Just a terrible game. The Void Shield and the Stealth and Shroud in the first turn really helped me. But the thing is that if you don't go first, and I didn't go first at any of my games. Yeah. If you don't go first, then you don't get to enact your canicles, right?
Oh.
So you're not going to be Stealth and Shrouded as they start shooting at you in that first turn.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, so that also went against me. On the plus side, I killed one of his knights. I almost took down his Warlord Knight.
Yeah.
But he tabled me. The only thing left standing was a Void Shield Generator. but he tailed me. He basically he kept the Riptide wing in the back, and they were just lobbing shots. They would Novacharge. He almost killed himself because this same one Riptide kept failing the Novacharge. Even with the reroll because of the formation. But they just kept lobbing like strength 9, pie plates at my guys way from the back, and then he ran up his knights, and including the Acheron, and then the Acheron just got in my backfield and then just started ripping stuff off, and then using the AP3 flamer, he just crushed things. So that ended up going 6 turns, but still he ended up at this end of the 6th turn tabling me.
Yeah.
So under the ITC mission scenario, you get a total of 11 points.
Yeah.
He scored 11 points, and I scored 0 points. So that was super nice guy.
Yeah,
I was that was when I was most unfamiliar with some of my troops, some of my stats for some of my troops and other things.
Yeah.
He was very patient. As I looked everything up I'd print out my battle scribe list and I'd like going through it. So he's a super nice guy. I really like playing with him. I'd happily play with that guy again. Just great guy. Yeah. But just a horrible list. You and I, when we were looking at all of the different armies that were before it started, we saw that his army in a box. Man. I'm like, I wonder who's going to play that guy. What a poor sucker is going to play that guy. That's the first one I got. All right. Afterward, we had a quick lunch break, came back, and then got to play a guy named Daryl with a Khorne Demonkin army.
KDK.
And he had the best painted army I'd ever seen. Just absolutely gorgeous army, and I'll put a picture of it, for folks watching on YouTube. Amazing, just airbrushed, but beautiful. Cool. It looked awesome. It was in bright colors.
He had this converted. He converted this Lord of Skulls, I believe. I'm not sure what he was using it as. What was he using it as?
I think like a knight. I think he was using it like a knight, like an Imperial Knight.
Okay, cool.
And it was shooting like 8 strength.
That's the Gatling
cannon. 3 shots. So I think he was using it as a knight.
He was using it as a knight.
Yeah, so it was a Chaos Knight. But it was a Lord of Skull conversion with the Lord of Skull's legs. He got rid of the whole beer wagon thing in the back.
Yeah, so now it actually had cool looking.
Oh, it looked awesome.
Nice.
He also all of his bikes he had converted as well.
Yeah, weren't they like 30K jet bikes?
That they looked like 30K jet bikes, but they were all different. And then all of his warriors, all of his troops had like sort of like kind of a samurai look to them. They had like samurai like spiked helmets.
Yeah.
Super cool converted. All very fluffy. They all looked very unified. He had awesome looking corn dogs.
Oh yeah. Those looked cool.
Amazing looking corn dogs. I don't know where he got the model, but they look fantastic. So
that was cool.
Yeah, and then he did blood letters in sort of lighter colors. He used blues and oranges and pinks, so they kind of really stood out, and they weren't like the deep dark red that you usually see for blood letters. Mm-hmm. So they stood out, and the whole army just looked fantastic. I just was in awe of his painting skills. Just nice guy again, and we played, but I think Warcon was too much for Khorne Demonkin, as you have found out. The cool thing with Khorne Demonkin is that you have to rush up and try to overwhelm the army before they can get off too many shots.
Yeah, as quickly as possible.
Right. He went first. I didn't see.
I've done well against.
Against War Convocation.
I think I've done well against War Convocation, or at the very least, Cult Mechanicus against Skitarii.
Yeah. I don't know if we've done Khorne Demonkin against Warcon.
No, I don't think we have.
Okay. Well, it turns out that they were more than a match for Khorne Demonkin.
Yeah.
He had Chaos Lord as his warlord on a bike. Him and a unit of bikers charged my Rust Stalkers, which is a very welcome and refreshing change.
Yeah.
Because normally my Rust Stalkers die in a hail of fire, right? They're like, you run them up, they try to get in the combat, and then they die because they get shot. But he rode his bikes up there and challenged them, and my Rust Stalker Princeps, like for 3 turns, was in combat with the Chaos Lord. I thought that was just by itself a victory. But the Rust Stalkers ended up with their transonic razors.
Yeah. They
were able to chew through his dogs. He also had a unit of corn dogs join that assault. So I killed all the bikers and I killed the corn dogs. That being said, though, that assault also was joined by my robots. Once the robots joined that assault, they just started tearing dogs apart, ripping them apart. Yeah. That's what they do with dogs. They twist them and then they tear them apart like that.
Oh, that's horrible.
Robots. The robots. They must kill. That's what robots
because
do.
they are robots.
Because they are robots.
They must kill.
They must kill. That's right. You don't know
We
this?
must kill.
Programmed to kill.
Pop.
Yeah. So that game, we were having fun and time flew by, and so I remember we were like basically at the end of turn one, and then the TO came by and he's like, okay, 45 more minutes left, and we're like, what? Wow. So we try to hurry up, but we ended up doing, I think, just 2 turns.
Jeez.
I know, just 2 turns. I don't know why it took so long. I ended up winning that one, 6-3. I won I think I ended up winning the primary. We tied on the Maelstrom, and then, and I think I might have gotten first strike or something, or first.
Something like that.
Yeah. So anyway, so that was fun. And then my final fight was against Sisters of Battle.
Yeah, this was unexpected. We never.
Yeah, I don't expect to run into Sisters of Battle. Yeah, exactly. This is the game where I rolled horribly, just horribly. Everything just. I've never seen so many 1s and 2s in my dice, and also my opponent was rolling really well. But he played it really well. I'd never seen so much Melta in one army. Right? He had a knight. He basically had a knight, and he had a bunch of sisters in rhinos and what do they call repressors? I think called repressors. Apparently, I don't know, and I don't know this. I should look this up because I want to start a sisters army. They've got like 5 fire points.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so you can basically, shoot, like the 5 of the sisters can shoot from the back of if you turn around the rhinos from the back. That's 5 fire points. Wow, that's fantastic.
That's pretty good, yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, so he used that to great effect. He also had a Dread Knight, and he had...
Oh, yeah, the Dread Knight, the famed...
the baby carrier.
It's the baby carrier.
Yeah, it's the baby carrier. He had a Dread Knight, and then he had like a unit of Grey Knights.
Let's make Space Marines.
That had like those spear things,
Space
like those
Marines.
pauldron thing. Now, what do they call those spear things?
What spear is that? You mean the Nemesis?
I don't know.
Wait, well, what?
I don't know. They're Grey Knights that had like those long bladed.
I think they're Nemesis halberds or something.
Nemesis
something.
halberds, whatever.
Something. I think it's like Nemesis demon.
Yeah.
Their name. The Grey Knights weapons have like crazy names.
Yeah. Oh, names. So he first off, first time playing Grey Knight. I've never played against Grey Knights, and the first thing he does, of course he went first, and I failed to seize, of course. First thing he does is that he teleports his Dread Knight right into right behind like my Vanguard and my Cataphront destroyers, right? 30-inch. He says it's a one-time 30-inch teleport that the Grey Knights can use. So they teleport right behind everybody, and the Dread Knight just wrecks house.
Yep.
He's got some sort of awesome flame weapon, and he just flames, which of course ignores cover.
Yeah. Well, it's a flame. It's a template weapon.
It's a template weapon.
Yeah. So ignores cover, and then it just murders a bunch of dudes.
Murders
then he proceeds to fight your knight and then kill your knight.
He killed my knight
somehow
with a Dread Knight. Well, again, my rolling was horrible. I failed every save, and then I failed to make every attack. So I couldn't stomp him to death or anything. And he was shocked. He was like, I didn't expect this was going to go this way. The Dread Knight would be taking down a knight, but he kills my knight. He kills 2 of my 2 out of the 3 of the Cataphront destroyers that were in one unit. And then he had teleported his I guess Nemesis Grey Knights. I don't know, these guys. This other unit of like Space Marine looking dudes, right next to my infiltrators. I told him about that aura thing, that debuff that they have, but I guess he'd forgotten about it. So those guys come in, and then the flamers from the sisters, and some shooting attacks from the Grey Knights reduced the infiltrators to just two of them, to 2 guys. But then those 2 guys went into combat. They used their fléchette pistols.
Yeah.
These little burst pistols. Just two of them.
Yeah.
That's 10 shots. I had invoked the canonical that allowed them to reroll all their hits.
Yeah.
So they went in and they killed 3 of the Grey Knights
Oh,
just with flechette pistols. And then the 2 remaining knights, the 2 remaining infiltrators went into assault. One gets killed in Overwatch. So I'm just left with 1 infiltrator, and he proceeds to kill the other 2 knights. The two Grey Knights.
Huh.
That was awesome. And then that guy consolidates and then goes into Linebreaker area.
Yeah.
And then I'm able to deny like 2 or 3 of his Maelstrom points just because this one single infiltrator is back there hiding. Right. But then he came in with all the citrus and all the Melta, and then he just started to systematically wipe out. Once my knight went down,
Yeah.
like everything started getting destroyed. He moves up his knight, kind of a moral victory. He moves up his knight and he kills my Onager Dunecrawler. That's the other unit I had. Kills the Onager Dunecrawler, comes in, and I challenge him with my robots.
Oh yeah.
And then he kills one of the robots and during his attack, because the knight has higher initiative. He kills one of the robots with his attack and stomps it to death. Or actually, he didn't stomp it because we didn't even get to that initiative phase. But he just kills it with the attack with his D weapon.
Yeah, yeah.
My other robot happens to have 2 power fists.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
I make all my hits, and I wound him. He fails all his rolls, and then his knight, boom, explodes, falls towards some of his sisters, and takes out some of the sisters that were, So suddenly I'm winning on kill points.
Yeah.
Right. It was a kill point mission. He ended up winning all the Maelstroms.
Yeah.
He got some great rolls. I got terrible rolls. All my Maelstroms were like, I needed to like be on his objective way over there, or I needed to have like, I don't know, I needed to have like most of my army within his deployment zone or something like that. Just terrible rolls, the whole thing. He got great rolls, so he wins all the Maelstrom. I win primary, which was the kill points, and then he had taken the center, King of the Hill, which is a rule that says that I guess you have to take whoever has the most units in the middle, I guess wins King of the Hill.
Yep.
And I didn't have anything mobile enough. Again, mobility in the Warcon is a liability.
Yeah.
So I ended up losing King of the Hill. So I lost by 1 point that one. That was really fun because I got to play Sisters, and that was really great. And I learned a lot about how they play and stuff, and I'd love to, play Sisters again or start a Sisters army. Right. And also I learned that Dread Knights are awesome.
No, yeah, apparently. Grey Knights, Dread Knights.
Yeah.
Grey Knights, Dread Knights.
Grey Knights, Dread Knights. Yeah. Caw-caw.
No, Grey Knights, Dread Knights.
Grey Knights, Dread Knights.
Dread Knights. I thought you said Dreadnoughts.
No, I said it's my Latin accent. It's Dread Knights. I said Dread Knights.
Your Latin accent.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, fun. It was my first experience.
Yep.
Day started at 10 a.m. and then ended at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Warhammer all day.
Warhammer all day.
Man, it was tiring.
All day, all night.
It was tiring. It was really fun. I think there were like 24 people in the tournament. I ended up getting 18th place. So it wasn't the worst showing, but obviously wasn't the best.
Yep.
You know what? It showed me that I'm probably not going to take Warcon to LVO now. Yeah. Don't cry. It's a tool for more expert hands.
It can't. There's a lot of threats you couldn't respond to, like that first army you faced.
I'm sure there'll be lists like that.
Tau could have responded to that to some degree.
Yeah, no, I mean, I could have like basically shot 4 D missiles at his warlord knight, you know, and then at least kill one of the knights right on the off band, and I had way more shooting power with Tau.
Yeah.
So I'm probably gonna take Tau. Is what it's easier to transport the models because Skitarii and Cult Mechanicus are fiddly and constantly breaking, so that's one thing. 2, I'm just a lot more familiar with Tau rules.
Yeah.
3, I tend to do better with Tau and just castle up and shoot.
Yeah.
So and I don't have to remember 1,000 crazy rules.
Yeah. You don't have to remember that. You don't have to remember all these like varying. It's very. It's very easy to remember because you pay for a lot of any like crazy extra rules you happen to like pay for specifically to deal with certain things. So it's easier to remember because you're like,
I may take
have a response to that. I got Skyfire.
I may take a Tau. I don't even have to take the Tau Hunter cadre. I could probably just take a Tau CAD.
Yeah.
And then either take a Sky Shield landing pad, which I'll use as a fire base, and then give everybody a 4-up invuln save against every kind of attack.
Yeah.
Or take the Void Shield generator.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. So, yeah. Why are you making that face?
I don't know. I'm tired. That's why. That's why.
Okay.
I'm tired.
All right. What'd you do and what you do during the tournament?
I read Fall of Cadia.
That's right, Fall of Cadia. Okay. All right. Great. That's a great transition because we're going to take a little break. When we come back,
now with extra burden.
We're going to get into the details of the Fall of Cadia. And just a warning here. We are totally going to get into spoiler territory.
Yes.
So if you haven't read Fall of Cadia, or if you haven't, read the spoilers already on the internet, then you're probably going to turn off that part of the podcast.
Yep.
We're going to talk about the models before we talk about the
we're going to talk about
the story.
We're talking about the new HQ.
The new units.
Yeah.
All that. Okay. All that and more when we return. Okay, we're back. Fall of Cadia is upon us. And we got our hot little hands yesterday on the Fall of Cadia. Both you and I have read through the book.
Yes, we have both.
It's one of the few books I actually read cover to cover, like every single page in that book.
Huh.
I started last night and then I finished it today a few hours ago.
And
it was great.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's more. Okay, for those who are looking for like a rules filled book.
It's not that.
This is not that. This is like a cross. This is like a weird in between state of novel and some rules. Not a lot. It's got like the whole Empiric Storm, Warp Storm rules where there's all these crazy like random effects happening on the battlefield. It's got 3 units and then like a few formations and a few new 2 detachments.
Yeah, 2 detachments, and then it's got some missions.
2 new relic tables, I think.
Yeah,
and that's it.
That's it.
That's what it's got for rules.
You're buying this mostly for the story.
Yeah,
and it's a grand one.
It is a very
right
grand.
Before we get into the story, which is spoiler ridden.
Spoilers. This is I can't. Spoilers. Yeah, you guy.
But we're not going to the spoilers yet.
Yeah, we're not going to the spoilers yet. But
before we get there, we're going to talk about the brand new models that get introduced in the Fall of Cadia, and our impressions of those. So let's open up the Fall of Cadia.
What do we got here? So let's start off with our big boyfriend, Belisarius Cawl, the Archmagus Dominus.
All right. First off, the model is amazing looking.
He does look great.
Fantastic. Probably the pinnacle of
thoroughly Blanche
GW 3D sculpting. It is awesome. More fiddly bits than anything else I've ever seen. Just fantastic.
Lots of fiddly bits.
So he looks fantastic. Looks great. 200 points.
Yeah, you get this freaking.
What does he got? What does he come with for 200 points?
For 200 points, I mean, beyond his toughness 6.
Well, let's go through the stats.
Ballistic skill 5, ballistic skill 5, strength 5, toughness 6, 3 wounds, initiative 3.
Wait, 3 wounds? I thought it was more than that.
Oh, sorry, 5 wounds.
5 wounds.
I misread that.
Yep.
Initiative 3, attacks 3, leadership 10, and a 2-up armor save. What else does he get? He gets the Arc Scourge, which is essentially Haywire. You can be using that as a Haywire weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Master Grav Power X, Mechadendroid Hive, which I think gives you additional strength 4 attacks, as well as a Haywire attack and initiative 1 Haywire attack and initiative 10.
Oh, that's cool.
The Scryer Skull, I think that's for mysterious objectives. Refractor Field, he's got extra canicles. He's got extra canicles that he imbues to himself and people that are within 12 inches of him.
So he has an aura effect.
Yeah, he has an aura of canicles.
Yeah.
He's just got regular mechanicals as well. He's got Feel No Pain, independent character, and he's very bulky because he's a big guy. He's up on those hamburgers.
He's a big boy. He's got kind of a gut, doesn't he?
He's got an armored gut. Yes,
Kind of an armored gut. Right.
Oh, and he regains D3 wounds every turn.
Every single turn. That's fantastic.
Because, you know. Oh, and he rerolls, if he's your ward, he rerolls failed Feel No Pains.
Oh, all right. So he's toughness 6, 5 wounds.
And he's got a strength 10, AP1, mastercrafted melted weapon.
Right. Oh, my
with,
God.
With assault D3.
Okay, he's 200 points. I think he's worth it.
Yeah, I'd
totally,
say he's worth it.
Totally worth it.
My only concern for him is that he's a bit... Well, I mean, he shares the problem of the Colt Mech and Skitarii, and that he's a bit slow.
Yeah, he's going to be slow. Yeah, again, they have no transports, nothing fast.
Yeah, so he'll just sort of... But for what he is, he's great.
Yeah.
He's great. He's just super tough.
I would take him over a Tech Priest anytime.
I'm not sure, actually.
Tech Priest is 105 points, and then you upgrade him with the other relics and stuff.
Well, you're using...
if you're using the Warcon, you're getting free.
You're getting it for free.
But if you're not...
But if you're not, then yeah, sure, I'm going to take both.
But this guy's just so awesome. I mean, try getting Slay the Warlord with this guy.
I guess you need either a lot of Power Fist attacks.
Yeah.
Maybe D weapon.
Does he have Eternal Warrior?
No, he does not. So if you had some sort of instant death weapon, you could poke him, and then he'd go down.
Okay, so Knights could stomp him.
Or poisoned. Poisoned would be good.
Oh, poison.
Like if I played Death Guard and got that pus cleaver.
Right.
Sounds horrible.
Or Dark Eldar could probably poison him.
Dark Eldar could do it, but
right.
Yeah, I don't think they get close enough.
Yeah, he's awesome. I think he's of the new triumvirate of the Imperium. I think he's far and away the best character.
All right,
and worth the points.
Certainly.
Yeah,
so
and let's talk about his
what?
His canticles.
Oh yeah, his can. Oh yes, his.
So what do his canticles do?
Well, it works in the same system as the rest of them. With the
more units you have in your army that can get canticles, the better the benefit.
So we have the Harmony of Metallurgy.
Okay.
Which is basically it will not die in its lowest form, and then if you have all the units, 8+, it will not die except you make 3 rolls.
3 rolls for it will not die. Oh my! So it's almost guaranteed you're going to get
at least one.
At least when your wounds back.
At least one.
Wow.
So then we have the Utterance of Neutralization, which is increased ballistic skill. Mm-hmm. And if it's highest form, it's +3 ballistic skill. Yeah, that's pretty good. I was thinking for like grav weaponry, since the destroyers don't get Skitarii, the Skitarii Doctrina.
Yeah, wow.
That's useful. Then there's the War Hymno of Fortitude, which is invuln save. It's first like 6 up, then it goes to 4 up at its highest. Mm-hmm. Which is good. Which is actually, if you're gonna get shot a lot, that might be that's a good thing to have. So yeah, I think that's probably one of the best parts about him. Anything that affects your army anything that helps the rest of your army with a warlord really does boost his tactical viability.
He's got an invuln save?
Yeah, he's got a refractor field. He's got a 5 up.
That's a 5 up.
There's
later on we'll get into the relics, but I think the relics can improve that too.
Can they?
Yeah, I think there's a relic that improves that.
Oh, cool.
All right. Who's next?
Celestine, the Living Saint. Note this is also her 2 bodyguard models are included automatically in the 200 points.
Right, 200 points.
So
what are her stats?
Weapon skill 7, ballistic skill 7.
Okay.
Strength 3, toughness 3. So she's still a human.
Yep.
5 wounds, not that human. Initiative 7, attacks 5, leadership 10, 2 up armor save, and her buddies have. It looks like they have cannon S stats. Weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 4, strength 3, toughness 3, 2 wounds each. Initiative 4, 2 attacks, leadership 10, 3 up armor saves. She gets Her buddies get bull pistols and power swords. Y'all get frag and crack grenades.
Right.
So the holy hand grenade.
Of Antioch.
Holy hand grenade of Antioch. And she gets adamantium will in case psychers. She doesn't want to get magnused. Eternal warrior for her specifically.
Oh, that's interesting.
Which is helpful.
Yep.
Fearless. Yeah. Hit and run. That's cool. That's cool right there.
That's great.
Hit and run. Independent character. And saintly blessings, which allow her to essentially activate like certain buffs to units that are within 12 inches of her. So that's helpful.
Before we get into the buffs, you had a theory about Saint Celestine because her stats are eerily similar to, if not the same, as a demon prince.
No. What?
Okay.
No.
Aren't demon princes? Okay, you didn't say that, but once you started reading the stats, aren't demon princes weapon skill and ballistic skill 7?
No, they're weapon skill 9, ballistic skill 5.
Oh, okay.
My theory ties into the fluff. That's later.
Okay.
My theory ties into the fluff, and I don't think I'm the only one who's thought of this.
Okay.
But we'll go over my theory later when we review the story. So her buddies got 4 up invuln saves, and they automatically take hits for her. So they're just throwing themselves in front of
automatic lookout sirs.
You just imagine them constantly throwing themselves
Lookout,
in front
Saint.
of this flailing. Move! Just shove her.
And then she has the power to raise them from the dead.
Yeah, she does. She has the power to raise, like, I think it's 1 at a time.
Yeah.
And it has to be within 2 inches of... Yeah, so you set them up 2 inches.
Yeah, she's got a power that could raise her bodyguards back from the dead, which is great.
Which is good. She's got an orbital strike thing, which apparently is like the Emperor's vengeance. I guess that she just calls upon Emperor energy.
Yeah. And
it's a strength fate AP3 large blast.
That's orbital. So
it's orbital.
If it misses, it's going to go 2d6, no matter what your ballistic skill is.
It'd be real awkward if it hit her own people.
Hey, maybe they weren't that good. And the Emperor
Emperor's
knows.
Providence.
It's the Emperor's will.
Yeah, the suspicion incurs. So we have martyrdom, which is she was as a casualty. If she's removed as a casualty during the fight, all friendly units that have active faith, which is Sisters of Battle thing, automatically pass all leadership tests until the end of the next turn. So essentially, she gets her own fearless when she dies.
Right.
Then miraculous intervention. Basically, if she dies, you can roll a leadership check. It's 10, so you're probably gonna make it. And if you pass it, she comes back to life.
Full wounds.
And she can even use her healing tears to resurrect one of her ladies.
Yeah.
So yeah, she can just come back to life, and you don't get Slay the Warlord if she is your warlord until you kill her twice.
Permanently.
You have to kill her twice. She doesn't. After second time, she's like, okay, yeah, it's done. And her warlord trait is all friendly models that are within 12 inches of her use her leadership when they're taking active faith and war hymn tests. So for those taking
war hymn, that means a priest. My favorite.
That's your favorite.
That's
thing.
one of my favorite characters.
It's your favorite.
He's so cheap. He's 25 points, and he gives you the ability to re-roll your saves.
He's slow though.
Again, he's slow. His leadership is 7. Not great.
So,
but with Celestine next to him, so put
more
the priest.
More and more points are being invested into this slow-moving Death Star.
It is a slow-moving Death Star, but it is a Death Star nonetheless. It's awesome.
And she's got like a +2 strength AP3 armor bane melee weapon.
Yeah, she and the priest put him in a Death Watch unit, and that's just gonna slowly crush things.
A Death Watch unit? Why a Death Watch?
A turtle
unit?
of death. Because
turtle of death.
Yeah, slow.
Why Death Watch?
Because you've got so many tools in there, and you can also have like Terminators at the front, that are going to re-roll their 2-ups or their 5-up invuln saves because of the priest, right? And we'll be using Celestine to make sure that the war hymn goes off from the priest. It'll automatically pass it,
Yeah.
right? Or use the. I think there is a formation that allows automatic passing of the war hymns and stuff. So anyway, but I mean, yeah, it's great. You can create like this little Death Star of Death Watch with Celestine fighting and then coming back to life, and then using her leadership to make sure that her rerolls or everybody's rerolls are in place. That's pretty cool.
It's very slow moving. 6 inches. You're moving 6 inches around. I mean, I guess you could put them in a drop pod.
Oh, I don't think you put Celestine in a drop pod.
Oh, you can't do that then.
Is she bulky or very bulky?
No, it's just her and two other ladies.
Is she listed as having like jetpacks or jump packs?
No.
She's not.
She's just a jump character.
Jump character.
So I think that it might entail bulkiness. So they're all bulky then. Yeah.
I forget the rule, but I don't think you can put jump packs in a drop pod.
Yeah, I don't think you can do that. So I don't think it's viable. Anyway,
could she Dream Strike?
She's a jump character. Yeah.
Yeah, then she would. All right, but then put her in with some Vanguard bets.
Well, alrighty then.
The priest will just like, I'll meet you guys later. All right, so you put a drop pod with the priest and your other Death Watch guys, and then she like joins them, right? As an independent character, and then they go off and kill stuff. Okay, all right. I'm just trying to figure it out. All right, I like Celestine. I think she's a cool model. Pretty good rules. Not as good as Belisarius Call, but still pretty good rules, and would be definitely fun to play.
So next is Greyfax, the new Inquisitor, 150 points.
First off, what do you think of the model?
Besides the high heels and the little like candle.
Oh yeah,
on her head.
Those are dumb. Those look dumb. I know. I get that she is a Inquisitor that is.
I mean, I guess if maybe they're space high heels and they don't impede her walking.
They're like magnets, like on Star Trek boots.
Yeah, so it's fine, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah,
it's
dumb. Yeah, the high heels in space are dumb.
I mean, what happened to I don't know.
Yeah,
it would make sense if she takes up like a non-combative role.
Right.
But she doesn't. She's on the middle of the battlefield, so
Right.
High heels not the best for moving around a
combat. So the canoness of Viridian, the old model that got resurrected.
Yeah. She also
has high heels, but that makes sense because it's like total '80s John Blanche kind of a thing.
That's more like it's of the time.
It's stylistic,
and it's fun. It's just that's
By the way, I got one of those.
Yeah, I know.
I forgot to mention that I got one of those. That makes sense for GW now
to do it.
It's like, really.
If you want to make her taller, just make her taller.
Right.
That's all you need to do. Whatever. Anyway.
And the hat with the
hat. You never liked the pilgrim hat. I'm fine with the pilgrim hat. I just don't like the candle.
Like she's Cotton Mather, like judging witches from the 1600s.
But yeah, she is judging as we will see with her special rule.
Yeah, I know, but it's just too much. It's too on point. It's too historically on point. It's ridiculous.
It's too historically on point. I don't know. I think it's funny. So weapon skill ballistics 4, strength toughness 3 wounds, initiative 4, 3 attacks, leadership 10, 3 up armor save. She's got mastercrafted the condemner bolt gun, which is essentially just causes perils.
For psychers.
For psychers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mastercraft power sword, frag crack.
She's got the frag crack. Special kind of crack in the 41st millennium.
She got psych out grenades. She got the Psyoculum, which is BS 10 against psychers. Her war trait is that infiltrators cannot set up 24 inches near her.
That's great.
So, eat it, Alpha Legion. Independent character, prefer enemy psychers. Ironically, a psyker herself, master level 2.
Yeah. In telepathy, right?
Yeah, she's stubborn. She's got indomitable will, which means her master level always counts higher than an enemy psychers when like determining
deny the witch rolls.
Yeah. So she can generate 2 powers from telepathy, as well as an aura of oppression, which essentially she can make a non-vehicle unit within 12 inches of her make a pinning test. But even if that test is passed, that target unit cannot run, they cannot turbo boost, and they can't perform sweeping advance or fire overwatch.
Yeah.
Which is actually, that can be good if it's like, let's say, you're dealing with freaking Eldar jet bikes.
Right.
You can go.
No, that's exactly what I was thinking. She's like against certain like psychic heavy
Actually,
armies.
she'd be good against Eldar because
Yeah.
she's like, hey Farseer, hey Farseer, hey Farseer, perils.
Exactly. She'd be great against Eldar.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Also, alternatively, you can use 3 warp charge points and make it a bubble of that. So whoever is within 12 inches of her, that's an enemy.
I like her rules more than I like her model. I'm a little iffy on the model, and I don't like the whole crossbow she's holding.
I like it.
No, I'm not crazy
like
about it. Also, she's 150 points.
Yeah.
So is she 50 points more valuable than Cody is? Against psychers, yes. Against
if you're doing with psychers,
yeah, I think she's a specialized tool. If you're going to fight anything with psychic abilities in there, or anything that generates a lot of psychic points, like demons or Eldar, then she's a great take. But otherwise, I'd rather just spend 100 points and get Cody as.
Yeah. All right. She's sort of like she's like a diet Calexis assassin.
Yeah.
No, I think she's
probably better than that. I would take her over Calexis Assassin.
Really? The Calexis Assassin.
No, I know, super mean.
You can only hit him on snapshots.
Infiltrates 1 inch away from.
No.
Remember how she can like appear 1 inch away from?
That's Calidus.
Oh, that's the Calidus. You're right.
I'm talking about the anti-psyker.
Oh no, Calexis Assassin's better.
Yeah.
Calexis Assassin's better. Sorry, I was confusing Calidus.
Hit him on 2-up.
Yeah. Oh well, why not use both?
Why not both?
A Calidus and Inquisitor.
You mean Calexis and Inquisitor?
Oh, sorry, Calexis and Greyfax.
Yeah, if you really hate psychers.
Right.
Yeah. So that's all right. So that's our talking of the characters.
Right.
All in all,
take a look. There's also some formations in here.
Yeah.
They're fluffy. I don't think that there's
nothing amazing. There's
exactly.
nothing. Yeah.
There's nothing amazing.
Nothing amazing. But it's there's some fluffy stuff that's cool.
Yeah.
There's this big old like mixed detachment of just like you can mash up all. It's a monster mash of all your favorite armies of the Imperium peoples. Except I noticed I don't think a lot of the other the specialized like Space Marine chapters are in there, like Blood Angels and Dark Angels.
Oh no, they're not. This is pretty much primarily Black Templars. If you're going to use any Space Marines, it's called the Castellans of the Imperium Detachment.
Yeah, it's a lot of,
and it's sort of like the greatest hits among the Astra Militarum, the Inquisition, some Space Marines, and some Cult Mech and Skitarii. So it allows you to mix all those things up, including Lords of War. So I actually came up with a list.
Oh yeah, 2 Ministorum.
You have to take a minimum of 2 to 4 HQs. Okay.
So you came up with 2 Ministorum priests, 4 scout squads, followed by a knight or 2 knights.
2 knights.
2 knights and a Storm Lord.
Yeah.
That's the list.
That's the list.
That's my list.
3 Lords of War, 2 priests, and 4 scout squads.
At that point,
you go.
At that point, you just take Unbound.
For this, you get Zealous Defenders. All units in this detachment have the Hatred special rule. However, if this detachment's force organization chart contains the maximum number of units, excluding troops, then all the units in the detachment have the Zealot special rule. And then here's the one I like the most. Flock to the front line. Each time a troops unit from this detachment is completely destroyed, roll a d6. On a 5+, you can immediately place a new unit into ongoing reserves that is identical in terms of the original number of models, weapons, and upgrades to the unit that was just destroyed. This new unit counts as being part of the original detachment, so roll of d6 as described above. If they are subsequently destroyed, so roll of d6 as described above if they are subsequently destroyed. Victory points are awarded as normal for new units in this detachment that have been completely destroyed. So it allows you to basically get troops back if they die under the 5+ roll. Okay, so why don't we take a little break? When we come back, we're going to talk about the fluff. We're going to talk about the story.
The meat of this.
Yeah, the 100+ pages
Oh.
of story that make up the Fall of Cadia. All that and more when we return. Okay, we're back. Now, if you guys have not read The Fall of Cadia yet, we advise that we say goodbye at this point because the rest of the podcast is dedicated to the story of The Fall of Cadia.
And it will have spoilers.
Plenty of spoilers.
Person listening to this.
Right. So, but if you don't care,
if
you don't care, you want to get some spoilers now, you want to get our take on the story, then please listen. But you've been warned. Okay.
This is okay.
Okay.
All right. Let's begin the tale, which we will read the entire. No.
Yeah. Wow. What a spoiler. This is the 14-hour version.
Okay. So basically, it starts off with Creed going, "Oh, this sucks," because Black Crusade sort of started. It was repelled seemingly, but Creed's not happy, and he's like, "Oh, more guys are coming." Everyone's like, "Are you sure?" He's like, "Yeah, more guys are coming," and then more guys do come because apparently they sort of retconned it to where the initial. We thought the Black Crusade was currently like a meat grinder. That was apparently the first wave.
Yeah, that was just the first wave.
That was like all like the recently turned like whatever war bands, Sons of Mouse or whatever. So that he just sent in front before like the actual like big boys came out to play.
Yeah, so Creed knows that there's more likely to come, and he also knows that it's unlikely he's going to be able to get reinforcements.
Yeah, and so he does this plan where he's like, okay, I need all my psychers to send a message, try as hard as you can, guys, then send a message to whoever's out there listening.
So there's kind of a horrific scene where he's rounded up all the psychers and he enlists the help of the Cult Mechanicus. So Magos has got them all like wired up.
Yeah,
like 100 of them. And he's got one remaining astropath as the focal point, who's just like hung up and he's like obviously in pain, and he's going to be channeling all the psychic energy through him to get out one last desperate message out to Terra to say, send help.
Please.
Yes. And so they flip the switch, and then all the psychers start like exploding like light bulbs, and then the Magos says, well, as we projected, 92% mortality rate.
In the grim darkness of the point. That was pretty grim.
Yeah, it was a grim scene.
Yeah.
And then so they don't know whether the message gets through or not, but Creed continues to like train his Cadians.
He's drilling his peeps all day and night.
First off, Castellan Creed is awesome in this. We don't really hear too much about him before then, and suddenly he really is the focal point of this book. He is leading the defense of Cadia, and he is sort of the spirit and the rallying cry for all the Cadians, especially his unit, the Cadian 8th.
Yeah, and he's constantly just shouting at everyone who's listening, "Cadia stands!
Cadia stands! Cadia stands!" That's their rallying cry.
Yeah.
Cadia's not fallen, Cadia stands. And the story progresses with basically the first attacks coming from Abaddon's, new crusade hitting the waves hitting Cadia.
Yeah, and then his main there's that first, and then his main fleet shows up. Complete like whatever ships are standing in front of him annihilated in like seconds.
Right.
It's like not even a problem.
Cadia's defenses, like orbital defenses, fall quickly.
He's brought a Blackstone fortress.
Yeah, and they explain what the Blackstone basically are like Death Stars.
Yeah, they're Death
Stars. So they're like old technology. There was a number of these ships that were planet killers, and most of them have been destroyed or accounted for.
Well, they were destroyed in like the war he got them in.
Yeah, that was when
the war was
got
over.
them in. But there's two of them that may or may not have, but it turns out that Abaddon's got one of them.
Yeah, at the very least.
Yeah,
and so he brings that in. He tries to blow up the planet right off the bat. He just tries to blow up the planet, but apparently the Archmagos, or whatever, not the Archmagos, a lot of the I guess the tech priests had been working on something that wouldn't block the beam I guess it's warp energy it's firing out. It sort of disperses
it. Disperses it, so they're able to protect it on that one go around. But it kind of like shorts everything out after it's like a one use kind of defense.
Yeah, and there's quite a few during this. There's quite a few asides that we have to like our other characters. Like we see Belisarius Cawl is like trying to. He's working on this planet, and he's like doing this, I guess, archaeological dig as it's being invaded by orcs.
Yeah. He's investigating sort of pylon technology.
Yeah.
These pylons are being discovered across different Imperium planets,
and he goes,
they're most prominent on Cadia, but Call's on a different planet, and
the Shadow Seer the Shadow Seer shows up.
Yeah, an Eldar Shadow Seer shows up,
and it's basically like, hey, those like stop the warp from being more of a thing. So
that thing you're researching, keep researching it.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do what you wimp.
Keep doing it.
Do it.
So he spends as much time as he can on this planet, and he fights the orcs, but eventually he's forced to retreat, and he shows up on Cadia.
He does show up on, and then the other side though.
Yeah, is
good old Trazyn, good old Trollzyn.
Trazyn the Infinite.
Trazyn.
The Necron.
Basically, I guess some of his stuff gets smashed because this one of the pieces of his collection, I guess it's a bell of a saint, starts ringing, and it creates these like crazy reverberating sound waves that destroy like a small but meaningful portion of his collection, and he gets kind of mad.
Yeah.
And so he's like, "What's that all about?" It did 13 tolls.
Yeah. So he kind of puts some things together, and he decides to go to Cadia.
Yeah, he decides to go to Cadia because he's like, I might be able to get some stuff there.
And sort of offer his help, but he doesn't. He might come as either a quote unquote thief or savior. Thief or savior. Yeah.
Thief or savior. Yes.
Right. So at this point, Belisarius Call's there, and he kind of like introduces himself to Call.
Yeah, and he's like, dude, these pylons are super important. And Creed's like, oh, well, now we have to defend it. Another
side
is on Terra. I don't even know how this happened, by the way. I'm not even sure how they got into like orbit, let alone like got on the planet.
Yeah.
But
Be'lakor
and the Iron Warriors,
the demon, yeah,
show up on Earth, on Terra. And Be'lakor goes, I can do the Black Crusade even better than you could.
Right.
Abaddon. And then he tries to take over the Imperial Fist's space fortress.
The space fortress, the Phalanx.
Yeah. And he tries to like corrupt. He gets a bunch of warp sniffs to try to corrupt it, so that way he can control it.
And he kind of succeeds. And
at first he does,
and then the Phalanx is basically they turn their guns on themselves and destroy the part of the ship that's been corrupted.
Yeah,
and they eject it, and then his plan starts falling apart, and there's this confrontation where it's him and a bunch of demons fighting it out, and then he stops getting his demonic reinforcements from the gods because they're like, yeah, this was stupid. And Be'lakor's like, no, and he dies. Yeah, so
but not really because he's a demon.
Right, he goes back to the Immaterium.
Back to the warp review guy, and then, actually, it should be noted, however, Legion of Damned show up.
Oh yeah, they help in the fight against Be'lakor. They silently show up and they kind of turn the tide in the battles that are happening within the Phalanx, and so they turn the tide for the Crimson Fists. Right.
Imperial Fist.
The Imperial Fist, right. For the Imperial Fist.
And so that was right. And then they weirdly stick around. And the Imperial Fist are like, they're supposed to go now?
The Legion of the Damned just sort of stick around. Don't say anything. They're just like hanging around.
Just stand around.
Just stand around motionless on fire. That thing they do. Well, there's fire coming out of their
marshmallows on their
They're like
head.
Ghost Rider.
They are like Ghost Rider.
So the Phalanx determines that Cadia needs help.
Yep.
And so it basically it jumps into the Cadian system.
Yep.
But the Phalanx is described as an awesome, amazing, giant space fortress that has seen better days. So it's kind of like wounded. It's kind of like not in full repair. It's not great, but it's still the most awesome thing that the Imperium has in terms of like a spaceship / fortress.
Yeah.
So once it shows up, it really buttresses the defense of Cadia.
Yeah,
And
and actually, doesn't it take out? It takes out the Blackstone Fortress.
Well, yeah, oh yeah. So at some point, the Blackstone it basically targets and goes after the Blackstone Fortress, which is that giant planet killer that Abaddon has, and literally
Yeah,
rams into it, destroying it. Right,
or destroying like the centerpiece.
yeah, the
of
centerpiece
it.
of it. So
powers off.
right.
While this is happening,
yeah,
on Cadia, there's this defense going. There's this mass landing being instituted by the Black Legion, headed by a guy called Demon Prince called Yorkanthos. He's the apparently the commander of the Black Fleet, so he's their naval guy. I don't know why he's a Demon Prince, but I mean he got ascended, I think, recently or something like that. So he got ascended recently. And him, the Hounds of Abaddon, which are essentially his Khorne subset,
yeah,
go in and do the siege on this base called Cadia Secundus.
yeah. They're there to turn off a piece of equipment, basically destroy a piece of equipment that's
preventing the warp dispersion thing that's preventing the Blackstone Fortress from blowing up Cadia.
Right.
And he actually does this.
Yeah, he actually makes it all the way through.
They are able to get through and do their mission.
Yeah.
But by the point that he does it, it doesn't matter anymore.
Right, because the Phalanx is already pretty much, damaged the Blackstone Fortress.
But hey, you're
in the midst of all of that, there's a lot of fighting. A lot of Cadians die. It's reported that one of the units, I think the 33rd, turns tail and runs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they come back and redeem themselves later.
Yeah,
but even the under Creed, that the onslaught is so tremendous that Cadian defenders at some point run.
Yeah.
Right. In the midst of all of these battles, the Black Templars are there, as are the Sisters of Battle. The Order of the Martyred Lady is there.
Yeah, of our Martyred Lady.
And then they describe two canonesses that fight this demon.
Yeah.
And he kills both of them.
Yeah, he kills both of them.
And
turns off the thing.
Right.
Later, it comes back up after the thing's been turned off. Celestine arrives,
and then resurrects the two dead canonesses.
Because at first your canon was like, "Yeah, lady, you're not going to be able to beat me. It's you and what army?" And then Celestine goes, "I don't got an army, but I got these two ladies, so that's cool."
So he resurrects the canonesses. They become Celestine's bodyguards.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's
their origin. That's their origin story. And so they proceed to wreck Demon House.
Well, we never see the battle.
We don't see the battle. We see Creed basically throwing the body of the demon over the wall, the defender's walls, just like tumbling down over the walls.
Yeah, that
was
funny.
Everyone goes crazy and happy, and of course saps the will of the Chaos Forces.
Yeah, so basically it didn't go well, but in the end, Celestine shows up. So that sort of helps. That really helps. Also, Trazyn shows up around the time Archmagos shows up, because they're working. Because after the defense of this base, Abaddon gets pissed and wants to actually goes on the planet. Meanwhile, the Archmagos is researching the pylons, and he goes to this underground place, and this is where the second big battle will take place.
Right.
And along with Trazyn, who's like, I know how these things work, so if you want to know how those work, because I was there when they were erected, you got it. I'm the only guy. Yeah. I'm your man. Which the Archmagos isn't happy about, but it's like, whatever.
I'll listen to you. I guess it's Data.
Yeah, it's Data. Oh, also Space Wolves and Dark Angels, I believe, are there. So
yeah, Space Wolves and Dark Angels. The Wolfen play a role. The Space Wolves are there, and they seem to not want to agree to be part of the official defense plans because they're hiding the fact that a lot of them are Wolfen and turn into werewolves, and so you hear their howls. The defenders hear the howls of the Space Wolves and Wolfen as they're going around killing chaos at night.
Oh, and there's this one thing that which sort of alludes to what happened in Wrath of Magnus. It was a little funny moment where I think it's Creed talking to I think Orvin Heifel,
who's one of the Space Wolf leaders.
He's one of the Space Wolf leaders, and he's like, "Oh, can we get reinforcements from Fenris?" And Orvin just doesn't say anything. He just sort of glares at him, just gives like a death stare.
I guess not.
And Creed's like,
okay,
oh,
guess not.
I'm not gonna ask about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So
So at one point, Trajan, in order to help out,
Yeah.
like a desperate battle that's going on, where Abaddon's troops are basically about to overwhelm Belisarius' call and stop his messing with the pylons, Trajan pulls out his tesseract,
Yeah.
and then releases a whole bunch of trapped
that was so
collectors.
funny. That was so
So
funny.
he releases Inquisitor Grey.
Greyfax, who
Greyfax.
apparently was a part of the collection.
Yeah, and she's
That's
not
how
happy.
she gets factored in the story.
And she's got with her like a whole bunch of
Like-
Tempestus Scions.
Yeah, you got a whole bunch of
The
Tempestus
Capic
Scions.
Eagles, which is a cool name.
Yeah.
So they come out.
A bunch of Horus Heresy Ultramarines come in all confused, like, who are these guys we're fighting?
Right, and why is their heraldry not as ornate?
What's the deal with
but then they realize, oh, well, there's chaos, here, so
it's
we'll
chaos,
start
it's
killing
fine.
chaos dudes.
some Forstarians who are apparently in
Yeah.
stasis, and they're like
The
throwing
Vestroians
up
show up.
everywhere, and like, whoa, what happened?
Yeah, well, Strons are all sick.
Yeah.
Too much vodka.
Too much. So those
Yeah.
that's a neat little scene.
Yeah,
With,
but suddenly all of these museum
Collection.
pieces suddenly show up and are in the middle of a fight. And
There-
they start fighting.
There was this great moment though. This is during the actual cave thing. There's a great moment a little bit before that, like where Creed, I guess, is on like one of the drop pad, like one of the drop pads directing traffic, I guess, in a battle. And Abaddon and the Bringers of Despair his bodyguard all teleport onto the drop pad, and it's basically like the Darth Vader scene from Rogue One, where Creed acts as the Data, and he Abaddon and his Terminators are just mowing guys down. His bodyguard, Creed's bodyguard, Color Sergeant
Kel.
Color Sergeant Kel, basically shoves him onto a Valkyrie, says go, 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 and then Abaddon's like, I guess I'll just have to crush you to death instead.
Right.
And
then Color Sergeant Kel, though, like spits his defiance in
like,
Abaddon's
Cadia
face.
stands.
Cadia stands.
And then Abaddon goes, yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think so. Crushes
Crush
him.
it.
Right. So that's like one of the major characters, like a character that we have in the Astra Militarum book.
Yeah, he's like,
Color Sergeant Cal is now killed, one of the first sort of casualties of the war.
it's Creed's best bro.
Yeah,
Creed's
and
best
who's been saving Creed throughout like the story.
Yeah.
and now he's one last.
Finally.
Yeah, these are a bunch of like little scenarios throughout.
Yeah,
like
there's
they
like
introduce like this House Raven, which is a
Yeah,
bunch of
yeah, yeah,
Imperial
that was cool.
Knights.
That was cool.
Led by a Baroness, and they're overwhelmed, but they're fighting.
They're
all
doing
of
their
the
best
war
against
machines.
this. They're doing their best against essentially a traitor, the legion of traitor titans.
Right, and so
They're doing their best,
losing a battle, but
it's
Yeah.
it's bad.
And so you get to hear their stories. There's also the 119th, which is a Valkyrie unit that goes around destroying. They do some key stuff to basically destroy, some air forces of the Chaos groups. And so you get these little stories of these different units all valiantly fighting and dying ultimately.
Yeah.
As they try to buy some time for Cadia.
But it eventually all comes to a head in the cave.
Yeah.
Where basically Abaddon's just mowing people down with his Terminators. A bunch of Black Legion are in there, and they're going after Creed. And Saint Sel. And there's
but let's take a stop here, because at a certain point it became clear, and we'll find out why, that Abaddon really has beaten Cadia. But he decides to personally.
He's basically
he's been
entire
humiliated for 12 crusades.
Technically we find out that he wasn't.
But he so he decides to personally rub their faces in it and lead the final fall of Cadia and kill Creed and then basically declare victory. Yeah. So out of pride, he shows up in this underground cave and have this big fight.
Yeah. You've been keeping Creed. You've been just a pain in my ass.
Right. So he goes down to take and basically Creed is like shooting at him. He actually wounds him, and he rips.
I don't think he wounds. I think he kills a Terminator.
He kills Terminator, and then he actually shoots Abaddon and causes a livid wound on his forehead. All right, and then
wound.
Abaddon grabs him and then lifts him up
and starts immediately crushing them to death.
Yeah, but he also
does he hurl?
No, he injures his arm. Remember? Like,
I think he like cuts off some fingers.
He cuts off his fingers and he destroys one of Creed's arms.
He was trying to disarm him, so he used that. And so he gets it. He starts mocking him, starts crushing him to death. Saint Celestine shows up, stabs him in the back.
Yeah.
Abaddon gets angry. Like apparently he took it to the spine, is what it said.
Yeah.
Only to Abaddon is a sword for the spine, and I'm annoyed.
Enough. Yeah, now it's annoying.
Okay, and so then after that happens, there was a duel a little bit earlier. That was cool. He's like, okay, we're gonna retreat, but I've already won, so you know.
Yeah. So at one point, let's just back it up a bit.
Yeah.
Celestine faces Abaddon. And Belisarius Cawl, he has sort of figured out that the pylons that have been on Cadia have been holding back the chaos from basically spilling out into real space.
Yep.
That the whole point of them is to basically sort of they create a balance and prevent chaos from overwhelming real space.
Yep.
So Belisarius' plan is to amp up the pylons and literally close the Eye of Terror. Like, shrink it so that the warp is basically eliminated from real space, and it's happening. And as that happens, Abaddon starts losing his powers,
and this is an important moment.
Yeah, Celestine
starts losing her powers.
Right, Celestine and her two bodyguards start getting diminished. Like their light starts fading, and so
which leads me
to believe,
and I think it's support. There's this theory has been around for a little while.
Yeah,
but the idea is the Emperor might be a weird sort of chaos god or equivalent, like basically like the manifestation of humanity's biggest.
If chaos is like raw emotion, he's like order.
Yeah, he
represents
order. He's the chaos god of order.
He's basically the nobler angels of our nature.
Yeah, and so there is a theory that he's a chaos god and that the saints are like his equivalent of demon princes.
Right. So Celestine might in fact be
essentially
a demon prince for good, or for the Emperor anyway.
Yeah. So.
So it looks like she's dead at a certain point. It looks like she's been defeated, and later on when she comes back and then stabs Abaddon in the back, obviously she's not. And, yeah. And
I think that's when
and he's wounded, but he realizes he doesn't need to stick around.
He doesn't need to. So he's okay.
Yeah, I'm out of here.
This was fun, guys.
Yeah, but I'm teleporting out of here.
By the by, you're all screwed.
Yeah, you guys lost. You just don't even know it.
I was just here to rub this in your face. So.
And it turns out that what he had done basically is that even though the Blackstone Fortress had been sort of like destroyed, he basically made it so that all of its pieces were now hurtling toward Cadia.
And it caused enough destruction.
Yeah,
to
essentially, to basically,
essentially the equivalent of an exterminatus.
Yeah, it's a dinosaur killer. Basically, think of it as a giant bunch of meteorites hitting Cadia all at the same time. It just destroys the planet.
And the pylons deactivate. I think they're just sort of partial. A lot of them are partially destroyed, so whatever the beam effect stops.
So a massive evacuation takes place. The planet is
it's starting to be enveloped in demons. It's turning into a demon world.
Yeah, suddenly the Arter opens up completely,
and it's like
chaos has no more limits. Demons start appearing everywhere.
I actually literally, when he crashed the Blackstone Fortress into Cadia, I actually started laughing as I was reading it.
Well, wow.
Because it was just I didn't expect that. I guess I don't know. I guess I figured it would just the Blackstone Fortress would just sort of blow it up. So I was surprised that that's how it went down. I don't know. I thought it was, at the moment I just thought it was the funniest thing because I guess it was a moment of little tactical ingenuity that I would not have expected from Abaddon.
There's a book by Neil Stephenson called Anathem that involves basically aliens at one point firing just like large like rock-like cylinders at the Earth, but it was the kinetic force of these cylinders.
Yeah.
Like they didn't have an explosive; they were just like big pieces of mass. And as we said before, force equals mass times acceleration. And you hit these things that are massive enough, and they create basically like the explosions the size of nuclear bombs.
Yeah.
So that giant planet-sized fortress crashing into a planet is going to cause all kinds of havoc.
Yeah.
So the defenders basically organized an evacuation. Whatever the remaining, it's described as 850 million people have now been reduced to 3 million.
That's just Cadians.
Yeah,
Cadians.
just the Cadians who were there.
That's not even counting for all the allied forces that were.
Creed holds a last stand defense to basically buy time to get people evacuated. And then he decides he's going to stay.
Yeah. And
so the last people to go are the Black Templars, then the Sisters of Battle.
Sisters of Battle and the Triumvirate's all on one ship, I think, with Belisarius Call.
Yeah, they all go with Belisarius Call as part of his sort of Adeptus fleet.
Yeah, his Mechanicus.
Right, but Creed stays on the planet, and then he's just there to fight, and he sees the oncoming demons.
I think the Eighth are wiped out. He's the last guy around, and he's like about to succumb to his injuries when Trazen shows up, and he's like, "Actually, how would you like to be part of one of my fabulous exhibits?"
Well, he doesn't put it that way, but he kind of says like, it doesn't have to end here, kind of a thing. And it's not clear that it's Trazen, but it's pretty clear it is.
Yeah, it's Trazen.
He basically gets trapped in the Tesseract, and he gets quote unquote rescued, captured by Trazen.
Oh, Trazen.
And then the book goes off in an unexpected direction because you think it's over. Cadia's fallen at this point. Creed has been captured. The evacuees are getting out. The Chaos ships are destroying some of the ships. It goes kind of very Battlestar Galactica at this point.
Yeah.
And so this ragtag group of humanity, is trying to escape from the Cylons.
But because apparently, Abaddon is informed by one of his sorcerers that there's some relic of great importance on the Archmagos' ship, and he's like, "Wait, what?"
And it really perturbs him. Like
whatever it is, it's
something that had meaning during the Horus Heresy. Like they say the words, and it immediately triggers Abaddon.
It triggers Abaddon.
It triggers Abaddon. So he's like, I don't care what,
we're gonna
get this thing. So he sends his ships. And they're being pummeled by the Archmagos' fleet. That's actually new and awesome.
Yeah.
And it's just like destroying all of these Abaddon ships. But they have so many of them that eventually they wear them down.
Yeah. They wear them down. Abaddon ship is described as being like this ridiculous, like
giant 8-pointed star.
Yeah,
it's a flying 8-pointed star, and then but the Archmagos' fleet actually destroys one of the points in the stars and actually damages it. But they're forced to head to a planet.
I think they crash land.
Yeah,
on a moon,
on a Hoth-like planet that's full of snow.
Yeah, and then they have to then proceed to immediately run away from all the Black Legion that are now chasing them.
Celestine has a plan basically she's directing them to go to this snow planet, and then go to these coordinates. And Greyfax is very skeptical of the whole thing. She thinks the whole time that she's an idolatress, that she basically is setting herself up as a
object of worship,
and therefore a heretic.
Mm-hmm.
And Celestine only regards her with sort of like, we're all working for the Emperor kind of thing. So that's okay. You can believe what you want, but we're all working for the Emperor. And so there is like a last desperate run through the snow as the forces of chaos chase them on this planet. And just when it looks like they're going to get overwhelmed, all of a sudden,
it's the Eldar.
The
Eldar show up. Save them. Essentially, okay, go into the webway with us now.
Yeah, all these jet bikes show up. All of these, shuriken cannon wielding Eldar warriors.
And it notes it wasn't just like regular like craft world. Like
no,
Eldar.
it's a whole.
It's like regular units. Craft world Eldar. It's like dark Eldar have shown up. it was like a whole contingent of like a bunch of like allied Eldar people that shouldn't generally
have hung out together.
Yeah,
they all show up in mass,
including, it specifically notes, someone of unknown origin to the Archmagos who looked very much. It was an Exodite. It's an Exodite.
Eldrad Ulthran is also there.
Yeah, Eldrad Ulthran is noted.
She's also there.
Fun. There's actually a little piece of old fluff. I don't know whether this is valid anymore or canon, in which Eldrad and Abaddon had a fight, and Eldrad won.
Oh wow!
Because with his like powers of predictive.
Is Eldrad male or female?
He's a dude.
He's a dude. Okay. I think somebody called him a witch, but that would make sense. All psychers are witches.
Yeah. I hope that rematch happens.
Yeah, but it doesn't happen in this book.
It doesn't happen in this book.
What happens basically is the Eldar open a webway portal and ask the remaining survivors of Black Templars and Inquisitor and Celestine and everybody else to like go through it, because it clearly they want to talk about an alliance.
Yep.
So that's
40K.
That's where it ends. That's where it ends right there. Eldar come in to basically ally and save us from the forces of chaos as they now, stream through the Eye of Terror without any kind of guardian planet.
That was the story.
Cadia becomes a demon world at this point.
Yeah,
a demon world.
World. I enjoyed it.
Me too. I mean, it was a total space opera. There's a lot of battle scenes. There's a lot of moments of heroism all throughout.
Yeah, it's a lot of
great little stories, little encounters. It's a quick read. I read it in one day.
Yeah, it's very quick read.
It's fun. They have little transcripts of little mission reports from different, low-level officers on the ground who are seeing what's going on.
Yeah,
it's fun. Most of the artwork in the book we've seen.
Yeah, most
There's
of it.
And then the few things that are new, you've probably already seen
on the internet.
On the internet, but still, the story's great and worth it, and a heck of a lot better than the way we just told it.
Yeah, so we recommend you read it because it's much has those very dramatic descriptions rather than space birds.
This is one of the few fluff books I actually have read through. And I've read the novels, the Horse Heresy novels and all this book, but I rarely read all the way through on the Codex supplements. This is not so much a Codex supplement as it really is an important continuation of the story. It really is changing things up for what's going on in the 41st millennium.
So
it's setting up 8th edition. It's setting up everything that's going to happen soon, and certainly allying with the Eldar, humanity allying with the Eldar is a huge change.
It's a big thing,
right? So very enjoyable.
Yeah,
a good time. Yeah. So
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, we'd love to hear from you guys.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think about all the revelations from the Fall of Cadia. Send us email. You can reach us at the Eye of Terror podcast at gmail.com. Come and visit us on our Facebook page. We get more and more people visiting us there all the time. We'll have pictures of our tournament experience up on the Facebook page. We'll also have some photos of some of the hobbying we've been doing. But that's it. That's our episode. All right. Cool. So that was episode 31. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back in a couple of weeks. Until then, I'm George.
And I'm Alec.
And we play 40K. We'll see you guys soon.